Hey everybody, welcome back to Generation X Nation. I will be doing a recap real quick of Love and Marriage Huntsville reunion part one. It was definitely a doozy. I do mine's a little different over here. My commentary is a little different. I will only be commenting on key factors that I've seen in this particular reunion. I don't want to waste a lot of you guys' time. So the people I will be focusing on tonight is probably going to be Martell and Kimmy for the most part, because they really showed their behinds in this reunion. Again, it's three parts, so I'm sure other people got their moments when they're going to, stand up and shine or what have you. But keep in mind, everything over here is alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. I basically do my commentary on what resonates off the TV screen for me, how people act, their body language, attitudes, how they answer questions. And that's how I base my commentary. Okay, I don't have a dog in this fight, don't have anything personal against anybody. So I want that to come out first before we start. Also, I want to take a moment to thank everybody who has been subscribing to the channel. Go back and look at the videos. I really appreciate it. Hit the likes, leave a comment, share, subscribe. I try to get back to everybody. Again, I'm just a small channel building up. I actually like doing this. It doesn't matter how, I'll do it until I get tired. I'm not trying to be the big YouTuber and have my own news platform or whatever. I just enjoy doing the videos. So we're going to get started real quick. First thing I'm going to do is kind of go over, not too deep, but what everybody was wearing. And for the most part, everybody looked really good. Um, Martell could probably stand to go up one size on his suits. I mean, he's a nice looking guy. He does wear a suit well, but I just think sometimes they're too tight. And even he said if he sit down, the pants may split. So maybe you just need to go up a size, Martell. I mean, you want everybody to see your physique. We get it. You got a nice physique, but go up a size. Um, who's a young Destiny with that blonde hair? Destiny. Blonde ain't for everybody, at least that particular color blonde. Something just wasn't right. The dress was okay. I'm not a big fan of the red dress on her. Red didn't look that great on her skin, but that blonde hair had to go. Tisha looked outstanding, absolutely amazing. Nell looked amazing. Of course, all the guys looked good. Kimmy, I liked Kimmy. I just, she looked good for Kimmy. I've seen Kimmy in probably worse outfits, but overall, the cast looked good. I just need Martell to loosen them suits up a little bit. Um, I know when they first came out, Carlos introduced everybody, and he said something to Destiny that kind of caught my eye. I'm telling you, the audacity of some of these people is it's just amazing to me. Um, he said, how does it feel to be back? And she said, you welcome. Like the show needed her back. Like, oh, you welcome. I did my job. Thank you. I'm like, okay, well, that was shade. I kind of read between the lines, but I know what that meant. That meant did I stir the pot enough up for you? Did I keep the show interesting enough up for you? That's kind of what I'm getting when Destiny said you're welcome. Welcome for what? Because the show went on a few seasons without you, Destiny. So it wasn't like you were that valuable to the team. But in the beginning, she was sitting there. Carlos went in and check on everybody. I guess he does a little random check, and whoever the showrunner was, and he went to her room, and she was like, "Oh, my outfit may not be here on time. I might be late. Don't you supposed to bring a backup outfit?" I don't even work in Hollywood, but I've watched enough shows and things where I believe celebrities sometimes bring a second outfit just in case the first one have a malfunction or don't make it on time. But I don't know, maybe Destiny could only afford one outfit. Who knows? Um, Outside of that, he went on and started doing his little same old shenanigans. Talk, he, started talking with Martell, trying to get him heated because he was pointing out that Tisha and Marceau is a new up and coming couple. And I've said that in my previous videos. I think it was the one that Who's Taking Over the Throne is some, I have to get the actual title, but I did say that, in a couple videos way back that Tisha and Marceau was being groomed. And I knew that when he took them to that award show. I said that grooming Tisha. See, Maurice and Kimmy ain't well liked as Tisha and Marsau. So Tisha and Marsau is being groomed. He was having them in the back, holding them back there just in case the Mel and Martell stuff went left in the court and everything. So I think he was always having them in the back of his mind that they're going to be the next couple up. And I ain't mad at him because I like Tisha and I like Marceau. I'm saying Marceau. I'm sorry. It's Marceau. I like Tisha and I like Marceau. And so he said, hey, how do you feel about them being a power couple? Of course, Martell going to throw some shade about I could care one way or another and all of that. It bothers him because when they were reminiscing, he was like, he was looking at what it could be and all that stuff. Martell, stop. Just stop with the freaking reminiscing. We all know the story. Just stop. You keep acting as though you didn't do anything wrong. Well, we could have had what? You had it. This ain't about could have had. You had it. You chose another route. Live with it. Um, he got a little emotional. It looks like when they was showing it. And then of course, messy Carlos had to ask Melanie how she felt. Melanie said, I don't feel no waist tied. Melanie said, looking back at that, it basically showed me, in her words, hey, how much I came through. Like I came through the fire and came out okay on the other side. She looked at it as a life lesson learned, what not to do in a relationship. So she said, hey, I don't look at it as a negative. I look at it as a positive. I got out of there just in time. Maybe had, even though I had 4 kids, I'm still young, still smart. I got out of there just in time, rebuild my life. Because I could have stayed in that stage forever, being mistreated, used and abused, and study popping out babies for a man that didn't love me enough to come home. That's all I'm saying. So kudos to Melody. So she's seen it differently. And in the same sense, when he asked him about Martell and Tisha, Marceau and Tisha, Martell said, I could care less if they're the power couple. So he's seen it differently than what everybody else seen them being a power couple. But he couldn't understand how Melanie could say that when you was saying similar things to them. Basically, Martell was just saying he's just indifferent. He don't give a shit if they power couple or not. Martell is still stuck from 5 years ago. In my head, in my mind, based on what I see, in my opinion, Martell is stuck in 2019 or 2020. He hasn't surpassed the divorce. He's not living in real time. He's not living in the time that he in his stage of life right now. He knows he divorced. He knows he has children. And he knows that he has, the custody and him and Mel not together. But it seemed like his mindset is still stuck in 2020 or 2019 when she walked away. He's still stuck there thinking there's a chance they can still get it back together. He has not realized she has literally moved on for real, for real. And he has to get that off of, he got to get that out of his head. Then they went back and forth blaming the bloggers for this. And, he was sending, Carlos started asking him about the text message and the screenshots and the photos. And then Martell said, I didn't send it, but I did send it. Totally confused. He said, I didn't send it, but I did send it. But Melody started because she was sending stuff to the bloggers. And then come to find out, Tisha said, that is BS. You were the one. We found out you were the one sending stuff to the bloggers. And I noticed Tisha and Marceau was kind of, they was kind of real cordial with Melody when the other side was saying stuff. They would, make a little facial expression. But I think they're understanding the assignment. Sit back and chill. We look good. We're getting our life together. We're becoming the new power couple of this franchise. We ain't finna mess that up. So they would just sit back, chill. Now, I don't know, maybe part 2 they'll activate. But for right now, they was laying low. Okay? Martell didn't like that. He didn't like being accused of sending stuff to the bloggers. And he kept trying to deflect it and say it was Melody doing it. It was Melody. And they're like, Martell, we seen you doing interviews. And then when Carlos even went to his face and said, Martell, tell me the truth. And he just kept switching and saying, Oh, that wasn't me. That was Melody. Uh, I did do it, but I didn't do that. But I did. I'm like, Martell, who are you talking to? I mean, I think Martell thinks everybody has the same mind as Ariane. She said, "Did you get arrested?" Yes. Did you plead guilty? I did an appeal. He said, "Did you plead? Did you were you a what did Melanie say? They said, "Did you were you found guilty?" I wasn't found guilty. I appealed, and I had to go such and such. And I'm like, well, he said, "I put in an appeal. They never found me guilty. I put in an appeal." And I'm like, I don't know if Martell understands how the court system work, or is he that freaking slow? Because he sounds like Arion. He really does. You don't get an appeal unless you've been convicted of a crime. Okay? So for me to get to the appeal court, I had to be convicted at the lower court. Now he's saying I wasn't convicted of anything, and she said, "Yeah, you was charged." Well, no, I wasn't. I'm like, it's not making sense, Martell. Why would you appeal something if you didn't get convicted of it? Anybody know? And I don't even. Most people don't have a law degree, but we watch enough TV, court shows to understand. In order for me to appeal the decision of a judge, he has to have made a decision at the lower level for you to go to the next level. Now, maybe you considered I didn't do it, but I want to plead guilty so I can go to get an appeal and have it overturned. But you pled guilty at some point in order for it to get to appeals court. He is slow. He is slow, and I'm starting to understand why him and Ariane make such a good couple. Because both of them two people are slow. It did make and every time he kept asking him, he kept changing and changing his he kept changing his answer. And I said, do he not understand that the people can just go and look at the stuff in the courthouse and understand, and see what really happened? I'm telling you, something is wrong with him. Something is wrong with him. Nobody literally, and maybe it's just me, but nobody pleads guilty to something that they didn't do just to appeal it. I think in my eyes, Martell thinks everyone thinks like Arion. He thinks we all have Arion's brain, and whatever he says, we believe it. I really believe Martell thinks that, because you have to be a very psychopathic, narcissistic, delusional idiot, literally idiot, to think, well, you were sitting on that stage saying, I pleaded guilty, but I didn't plead guilty, but I appealed. I didn't send no picture, but I did send a picture. I sent a text message with a photo, but I didn't send a video. I did. Dude, see, that's the kind of crap you tell Ariane, and she believes it. This is why she's stuck where she's at. She's stuck with you in 2019, 2020. Y'all still at the divorce stage, because she'll say, well, Martell said he didn't plead guilty. He said he would that Melody's full of crap. He only pleaded that because so he can get his appeal, because he didn't do anything. It was Melody selling everything to the blogs. That's what she would go on a blogger and say. She ain't had a conversation with Melanie. She ain't had a conversation with Marceau, none of the core six. But Martell will come home and tell her this bull crap, and she'll believe it. And we're sitting here looking at him. I'm looking at him through the TV screen, knowing he lying. I'm sure everybody who was physically there knew he was lying. But I'm starting to think he thinks everybody has the same brain that Arion has. Newsflash, Martell, you and Arion are only two slow people on that show. And she ain't even on the show. She's an invisible cast member, as I like to call her. Y'all the only two people slow. Now, everything you said on there, I can guarantee you, Ariane would be, well, she probably running out of content creators to call now that she know people be getting it. She probably running out of people to call and talk to, but she gonna go talk to somebody. Or she gonna get on her YouTube or send a subliminal message, on TikTok and Instagram like she loves to do. Still coming after Melly like Melly gives a shit about her. Newsflash to Ariane Martell, make sure you take this back to her. Melanie don't give a shit about you, Ariana. You putting up all these little subliminal messages. Oh, you need to stand in the fire like I did. Stand in the fire for what? She's not trapped in 2020. She has broke down and rebuilt. And she is moved on. Y'all still over here with the cheating shit. The baby 9, 12 years old. It's a wrap now. Baby about to go to school. We don't care. What stories left to tell? Anything you do now is just petty shit. And she's beyond that. She's beyond that. So, moving on. I will say this. Carlos said, look me in my eyes and tell me the truth. Martell couldn't do it. Martell could not explain Martell. But he wanted to explain everything Melanie was doing. Everything Marceau was doing. Everything the bloggers was doing. But every time you say Martell A, Martell B, Martell C, Martell couldn't even explain what the hell he was doing. Because the story changed literally right in front of our eyes. Martell. Now I say this with all the love in me. Everybody don't have the brain that Ariane has. Okay? You basically were trying to convince yourself that you were innocent. You really was. The only people believing your lies is Ariane at this point. I don't think nobody on that cast believed what the hell you had to say. And I'm just going to keep it honest. I don't believe they did. Your brain is on a whole nother atmosphere. Okay? And I'm going to move on because I spent too much time on you. Next up, that's Maurice and Kim. Okay? Maurice tried to play lawyer on there, and I'm just going to keep it real quick. He asked him, bottom line, where was you at between the 4 o'clock in the morning and 12 o'clock or 11:30 you got arrested? He said traveling. Maurice sounded like a sovereign citizen when he said that. He sound like a sovereign. Them sovereign citizens, they don't have driver's license. They get pulled over. They say they allowed to travel, and they go in court and they get a ticket and they take it all the way to the Supreme Court because they're allowed to travel without a license. Then they're not required to have one. It's their constitutional right to travel within the country, whatever. That's what he sound like. Okay? Some lawyer answered, well, you figure out in 2025 what the outcome was. You never really said what you were doing. Did you go out of town? Because between 4 in the morning and 11 o'clock, that's a good 7 hours. Did you go out of town? Then come to find out you wrecked. You ran into a pole. Was you just laid in the car, passed out drunk, and they found you there? And then Kimmy, who originally said she went home first, then she said, oh, I made a stop. We both stopped at the gas station or wherever. I don't know, got a Slurpee or something. And then I went home. He went wherever. Why is that? Where was he going? If all of his friends had went home, apparently left the party, it's about 4 in the morning, he's by himself. Where's he going? Just don't look good, Kimmy. I ain't saying he cheating. I'm just saying where the hell he going that time of morning? But home. Especially if he been drinking, Kimmy. The story makes no sense. But Maurice, acting like a true lawyer, tried to BS us and make us think, well, I wasn't doing anything. I was traveling in my vehicle. Kimmy coming to his defense. And I'm starting to think maybe Marceau ain't the one that's cheating. Maybe it's Maurice. He seemed to be pretty quiet over there, never saying nothing. But when you mentioned cheating, he jumped up real quick and he started defending that. And then he always running over there and defending Martell or calming Martell down because he don't want Martell to tell on him. It literally sounds like a sovereign citizen. Then when he got to the point where he asked him a question, do you think Maurice cheats? And she's like, well, I wouldn't put anything past anybody. I'm done with Kimmy and Maurice at this point. I've given them like 5 minutes of my time to say, give me something to make me change my opinion of you guys. They made me think even less of them at this point. Build your fan base up, people. Y'all trying to get this show to continue to run without Melanie. And this reunion ain't helping. I'm just gonna be honest. I know y'all filmed it back in October, but maybe y'all filmed it on the premise of when we get back to filming, we can start these stories over. Mel, why did you do that? Da 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 da. Well, you ain't gonna have that. Okay, so you're gonna have to eat, and them content creators gonna be all over them court documents once they get released, and you go back to your next hearing. They waiting on that date. So good luck to you, and I hope your story pans out. Um, But again, yeah, Maurice, the story was just shady. It was a weak story at best. Again, this is alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. It was a weak story to me. I don't know how Kimmy fell for it or Kimmy just covering you. And then, Kimmy, you came in on 10. The minute you sat down, ask me what you want. You came in ready for a fight. You know, and then as soon as Maurice go, you disparaging my character. Shut up. Everybody on that stage, everybody admittedly knew that there was a revenge P out there on that young lady. And none of y'all said nothing. And you don't think that's disparaging her character? When Carlos asks us, would you tell Kimmy if you seen Maurice cheating? Kimmy act like she was upset because Mel said no. What if he would ask y'all, would you tell Mel if y'all seen her tape? Because y'all didn't tell her until it was y'all was backed in a corner after Martell pissed y'all off. Then y'all decided to come forth. Y'all should have ran and told her then. So for her to say, no, I wouldn't tell Kimmy if I seen him cheat, I don't blame her because you didn't tell me when you seen the tape on me. Why would I tell you anything? Y'all didn't say nothing. So make sure when you have that energy for her, think about how it affects you. When she didn't have that energy for you. When she said, no, I wouldn't tell. You wouldn't tell, she wouldn't tell. She gave you exactly what you gave her, and you act like you didn't like that. That's what got me. But you came hard for her, and it's hard for us to process all of it since we know the story that she told us on Friday about how all of this unfolded at the reunion, doing filming, and now you on the reunion stage and we know you clowning and acting. Because before you got to the reunion, y'all had already resolved that. So we know this is an act. So now you see how it makes us think, oh, this is fake, that you guys, how can I even, even half-ass like you two when I know you're just putting on for the cameras, Kimmy? Putting on for the cameras. Because I specifically remember Carlos King saying, what did he say? Kimmy showed up for the reunion. She clocked in. So it looked like y'all was all kiki and happy that you allegedly got in Mel's ass. And now it's like, it's all fake. This is a fake mad. You're starting a fake fight so you can continue on the next season to act like you have a problem with her. Okay, got you. So Kimmy, you full of crap. I don't know if Maurice was cheating on you or not, but the damn show sounds like something went on between 4 o'clock in the morning and the 11 or 12 o'clock that he got arrested. All right. And last but not least, I will say this. I know we got 3 more parts to go, but Martell, the more you get up here, I don't know. The more you get up here and talk, the worse you look. Maybe you need to stop letting them coach you alone and bring out information because Melody wasn't even looking you in the face. She really didn't even want to engage with you. And I think for the most part she didn't. You tried to push her, and I hope she calmed herself down on the second part too. But you kept saying her name, looking over there at her. She wasn't trying to engage in you. You have to understand that you have to admit your mistakes and admit your limitations, apologize, and sometimes just, say thank you. Have a little gratitude. Be nice to people sometime. Sometimes, Martell, you show up with so much energy, so much pride and macho, whatever stuff that you don't know how to just take, again, just like Destiny, a little bit of humility. Bring it down a notch. Because at this point in your life, the only person The biggest cheerleader you got, the only person stomping, standing on business for you is Ariana. And I feel bad for her, but she been stomping for you for 10 years. And you still ain't put a ring on it. See, she's the only one that believe your BS. That's why you won't let her. And she really be thinking she eating over there, repeating the BS you said. And that's what make her sound even more delusional. Y'all two delusional people living together. You're delusional. And then you basically have, it is rubbed off on her from being around you that she don't believe fat meat greasy unless you tell her. She believe everything you say. Because I guarantee you, she's somewhere saying, well, Martell said that so-and-so was the one who had the video and he did this and that. Martell said, well, according to him, he had to go into the courthouse and plead guilty so he can get his appeal. Da, da, da. She'll believe that bullshit because that heifer ain't even bothered to figure out how the justice system works. Nobody on that damn... Maurice is a whole lawyer. He should have said something like, no, you can't. Why are you appealing why are you going to a court for an appeal? Why would the court even see your appeal if you didn't get a ruling at the lower level court? Anybody that ain't even got a law degree, if you watch freaking CSI, Criminal Minds, Law and Order, you know that. Why am I at the appeals court if I didn't get convicted at the lower court? I can go to damn court TV and figure that out. But I bet you told Ariane that shit and she believed every word out your mouth. Yeah, but see, she trying to get him locked up in jail. Martell ain't did nothing. He gonna see her in court. That bitch can't. Let me stop. Pull it back. Let me just say this. Everybody you deal with don't have the brain of Ariane. Some of us actually are critical thinkers. Some of us actually have common sense, and some of us actually have just basic intelligence. Stop talking to your cast members. Stop talking to Carlos and everybody else like we are Ariane. We're not. We don't believe everything you say. We don't think you freaking walk on water. And we're not going to let you continue to play in our faces and then come back and be okay. Now, she'll let you call her a peasant. You know, you regret being with her. You're not getting married and be knocking at her door that same night. She doesn't care. And we feel sad for her because she doesn't. Even though we keep telling her, you are a placeholder. You literally are a placeholder. So those basically are the two people, outside of Maurice that I wanted to discuss, because the pattern I seen at the reunion was Carlos came out, did a little niceties in the beginning. So then he started with Martell and Marceau. That conversation reflected back to Melody and what happened there between the voicemails and this and that. Then he went over to Maurice. That conversation reflected back to Melody because of her talking about his DWI and disparaging his character. Even though Melody told them a couple of times, I decided not to talk about it no more. It was a closed case. Why did y'all keep bringing it up when she said that? Y'all should have left it alone. And y'all knew that because according to her, y'all knew this before you got on that stage. But you wanted to, I guess, by airtime, get a moment, you know what I'm saying, go viral, I don't know. Then Kimmy starts to talking. Conversation goes from Maurice coming in at getting arrested at 11:30, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, where was he at, to back to Mel. So, since they've been on the stage, and we ain't even got to Destiny, which I'm sure she got a lot to say, and then we got Miss Nail, over there with some tears about how much time she spent counseling them and missed time with her mom. So it seems like at least the first three people that you interview somehow go back to Mel. And then next week, when you get into the other people, they're coming back to Mel. Oh, and Tisha's going to come on. And then that conversation is going to be about Martell. And that'll end up back on Mel's lap. And you wonder why this damn girl walked away. Make it make sense. Y'all keep saying Miss Mel ain't this and that, but y'all keep making her the storyline. And now she's the storyline at the freaking reunion. I don't blame her. But y'all are so mad that she walked away and took y'all storylines away that y'all have to regroup. And somebody is in there is petty enough to go and whisper in Carlo's ear, bring Ariane on, because that's how petty y'all are. You think that's going to hurt Mel by bringing Ariane on the show. I can guarantee you Mel ain't gave up her producer rights and her name will still be there somewhere as a producer on that, executive producer on that show, because it's still part of her ownership because she created it, helped with him. That means she still gets credit for that show, whether she's there or not. That's what y'all bird brains ain't looking at. She's going to succeed. Doesn't matter. She's going to succeed. She's smart enough to do it. She demolished one business and started another with that dude, her ex-husband. We all see, and she's the brains of the family now. It was the brains of the family. Even he figured that out. But not Ariane. Ariane said, Martell built Melanie. Really? Well, he can't build you. He can't even build himself. That man on that stage who was sitting there trying to convince all of us that he did something he didn't do. He was trying to convince us and himself that he was innocent and trying to convince us that we didn't see or hear what we actually saw. That's the guy that built her? Girl, you crazy. Something really wrong with you. However, back to the show. You people ran this lady off. She no longer would be your storyline. Now we're trying to build up Tisha and Marceau. And let me say this. I like Tisha and I like Marceau. I think Tisha's absolutely gorgeous and Marceau is comic relief. But I also noticed the way they're handling themselves now with going live, doing more social media, more engagement because they're trying to build that fan base. Because they got to build a fan base to replace the fan base that's going to go when Melanie leaves. Them the only two people who possibly are capable of doing it. So they have to change the way they behave. They have to change their tone to be a little softer, be a little nicer, more business minded. You know, Tisha can't be petty like she used to. That's why she's sitting back. I can guarantee you Marceau looked at her and said, look, at this reunion, this is our time to shine. I don't want you arguing with nobody because you notice she ain't saying nothing. She ain't arguing with nobody, ain't even putting her 2 cents in. She's sitting there being quiet. Tisha has never sat on a reunion and kept her mouth shut. Maybe the first reunion, but anything after that, she was on and popping. So I find that kind of hard to believe, but I find it interesting, not hard to believe. But I understand why she's doing it, and I hope they can carry the show because out of all the people that's left on the show, that's the couple that I think is the most likable, the most successful, and who can do it. And I'm loving her glow up, and I'm loving his level up, and I hope they keep doing it. Martell, I don't know what's the deal there. You seem like you pissed Carlos off a little bit doing the taping because you wouldn't be, upcoming and forthcoming with it. He may decide we probably can get rid of you and still hold the show down if Tisha and Marceau step up. So you might want to chill with that. Or he may say, hey, bring Ariane on just so I can piss off Melody because she made me mad by leaving. And this is a get back. I can just put her up in your face and put her on the show. I don't think that'll work though. I think people will really, really stop watching because they don't like her. And one thing I noticed about this show, if there's a character on there that people don't like, the fans don't like, they won't watch and they'll let you know. And they'll tell you to get them off the show. They've already don't like Trish and Ken. Unless they come back one more season and change it up. If they come back next year with that same mentality, well, I don't know. Trish gonna have to find somebody else to resort that anger off on. Because Mel ain't there. See, Destiny got to find somebody to throw the anger off on because Mel ain't there. And I personally would have a clause I would tell my lawyer, don't talk about me, don't use my image. I don't want to hear my name on nobody's conversation. Just like LeBerg. She need to go find the same lawyer he had because they don't talk about LeBerg at all. Just some things I noticed. Again, everything is alleged, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes only. That's where I'm seeing the direction of the show. So, yeah, with Mel being gone, it's going to be interesting how they, pick up their storylines going forward. Because, as they say, the leopard's going to eat their own face. I guess they'll be eating their own face at this point. Can they sustain the show without her? It just depends. I honestly don't even see where Martell needs to be on the show anymore. And the only reason I think he'll stay is probably to try to get back at Mel for leaving them high and dry. I really believe that. But instead of working on their business, their real estate, showing us the black excellence that we want, they'll probably be working on the revenge next year and hitting somebody where it hurts, or at least trying to, not realizing that girl is gone. And speaking of that, before I hang up, I noticed, because I do follow her on Instagram and stuff, and I noticed she's made quite a few friends down there in Atlanta. Uh, the crew to be in, the Quads, the Cynthia Bailey's, the Portias, the Candies. I noticed they be liking her pictures and leaving comments. That's what I'm talking about. She's elevating up. They still stuck down in that little. See, they're local celebrities in a small town in Huntsville. If she can get to that big stage of Atlanta and be around the ins and outs of the Atlanta social scene and reality TV scene, she can elevate to a level they'll never see. See, they don't want to come down there and compete with the people in Atlanta because that's too much competition for them. You could be a local celebrity there in that small town and be the big man around town. Because according to Wanda, the Scots run Huntsville. Well, it's a small town. It ain't hard to run. They don't have a lot of local celebrities there. But if you go to that big pond on the other side, 2 hours up the road in Atlanta, you won't be able to say that because it's a big pond, big pool of fish down there. So they rather stay there where they can, this is a good little spot here. I can just run things. Hell, they might bring Stormy back. From what I hear, she, like, Canvas Beauty still got good products, but people just ain't getting their stuff on time, whatever the case may be. She might come back, might not, who knows. But that reunion was a hot mess. And I'm glad to see that Marceau and Tisha are, standing on business and not letting that get into what they got planned for their future. Martell, he needs to go, and I've said it, he needs counseling. Something wrong with Martell. They need to fix that dude. Like, seriously, Ayana need to come fix his life for real, for real. Come out of retirement. And everything else, I guess we'll have to figure out what happens on season 2, reunion, part 2 next week. And with that being said, Gen X Nation, I'm going to go ahead and call this quick. I didn't mean for it to go this long, but sometimes I just get to talk, and these people they will have you up, and they will have you heated sometime. So you guys have a great rest of your day. And this is Generation X Nation out. Remember to subscribe, like, share the channel. Subscribe, like, and share the channel. And I'll catch y'all on the next round. Peace out. Have a great day.